What's going on, guys? Welcome to Clutch People. I hope you guys are having an amazing day or night. As you guys know, Steve Nash went on to be hired by the Brooklyn Nets. When you think of Steve Nash, you think of one of the greatest point guards to play the game, a two-time MVP, one of the most efficient scorers from beyond the arc, and an insane playmaker. You think of the pick and roll with Amari Stoudemire days. If you told me Steve Nash would go on to be an NBA head coach, I would tell you were absolutely crazy. If you did not know, Steve Nash has always wanted to be a coach, but he left it on the low. I think this was definitely a hire to keep the players happy. He had a good relationship with Kevin Durant when he was a developmental consultant with the Golden State Warriors, really working him out, and he built that relationship. And Kyrie Irving will have someone to respect because he's one of the greatest point guards to play the game of basketball. Kyrie Irving has that ball in an absolute string. He hits big shots, one of the greatest finishers in the game. But I would say there's a flaw in Kyrie Irving's game. Also, his defense isn't the greatest, but he's not an insane good playmaker or at least passer in general. And I think Steve Nash could definitely help him out. Being a former player, like what I saw in this play, you should do that next time and that type of thing. But I think he's definitely going to have respect for Steve Nash. And he's probably learned from Steve Kerr as well. Of course, being a developmental consultant there and just working out with Kevin Durant, he has a good understanding of the game. You're not a developmental consultant for no reason. You have to have a good understanding of the game. But we have to really see, is he good with rotations? Is he good with the game plan? Does he have the right playbook in check? Does he have a good philosophy for players to really buy in? There were safer choices like Tyronn Lue, who's already demonstrated the ability to coach stars, including Kyrie Irving, to a title. But does Kyrie Irving not have as good a relationship than we think with Tyronn Lue? Of course, the Nets owner had designs of trying to bring in Greg Popovich, but clearly Greg Popovich is loyal to San Antonio and he couldn't get on board with that. But you also have to think Steve Nash probably still has that drive to get a ring. He's like, I'm in a perfect position here. I have Kevin Durant, one of the greatest scorers to ever play the game. Yes, he is coming off of a big time injury, but I do still believe he's going to be one of the greatest scorers. I do think he's going to play more safe and more of just jump shot oriented, but I think that's okay. I think he's one of the smoothest jump shots in the game. But to give credit to Chuck Vaughn, he's going to learn from Chuck Vaughn. Chuck Vaughn, of course, took over as the interim head coach for the Brooklyn Nets when Kenny Atkinson went on to be fired. Don't get me wrong, Kenny Atkinson is a good coach, but I think he was just there to develop these young players like a Karis LeVert, when D'Angelo Russell was there, a Jared Allen, a Spencer Dinwiddie, even a Joe Harris they might bring back in free agency, which I think would be amazing. You can never have enough shooting, but Chuck Vaughn went through adversity in Orlando. He definitely learned a lot, and I think he did a solid job with the Brooklyn Nets, and I think it's going to be an interesting story with RJ Barrett, his godson, playing for the New York Knicks. I think this is an underrated hire, in my opinion, by the Brooklyn Nets. I think he's going to go on to be successful. I may sound really dumb, but don't be surprised if he ends up being a successful head coach. And I do think he was just hired because he understands the game and he's really going to get along with Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant. I think he's going to be a big-time players coach that can relate. And he might even still be a good developmental guy as well. We don't know, like I said, we don't know what his philosophy is. We don't know what his playbook's going to look like. We don't know what's going to be in place. Like I said, there were safer options like a Tyronn Lue. I'm not the biggest of Tyronn Lue fan, but he has proved himself to coach through adversity and coach a star with a big-time personality like a Kyrie Irving in that locker room. But he does have a 2-year window, in my opinion. Having a guy like Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant, they're not getting much younger. They are a win-now mode basketball team. Let me know down below, do you think the Brooklyn Nets will go on to win an NBA championship with Steve Nash? If you're new to the channel, be free to click that subscribe button and smash the like button. And as always, guys, have a humble day or night. Peace out, y'all.